Hello everyone, my name's Miranda and today I'm here to review Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which stars Lily James, Sam Riley, Matt Smith, and a whole bunch of other people who are somewhat famous and you'll probably recognize them. And this is of course based on the book Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, which is a retelling of Pride and Prejudice with zombies, so yeah. Okay, so once we can get our heads around the ridiculous premise that is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, you actually realize it's kind of a really cool concept, and even though I've never read the book, I want to read the book, and I really wanted to see the movie because, I mean, it's a freaking amazing concept. And it has Lily James, who is quickly becoming one of my favorite new actresses. She just slays every single role that she has. You may recognize her from Cinderella, which was her last big role, but now she has kind of completely turned that and is playing Elizabeth Bennet, who is now pretty much the same Lizzie Bennet you know from Pride and Prejudice, but she also slays zombies. I mean, right off the bat, this movie is a action-intense, kind of gory, amazing female empowerment film, and I really, really liked it. It wasn't perfect, it definitely had some flaws, but it was very good and very, very different from kind of your usual ho-hum superhero sequel movie. And I really enjoyed it. They tried to make something new and different and kind of out there, and even if it didn't succeed financially, it definitely succeeded in my eyes because it was definitely an enjoyable story. And what I really liked was how it was filmed, in that like you could kind of forget almost that there were zombies in this movie because they would have like such like intense or just like normal scenes between two characters, and then all of a sudden like the zombies come and you're like, oh yeah, this is Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, and then they slay some mother foes and you're like, dang, watch out for these girls. Because that was the thing that I really liked, where the action scenes were really, really, really well done, and you could definitely see like all the training that they put into this movie, because in my opinion the girls looked better, like more natural fighting than the guys. The guys sometimes I was like, I don't know if that move would really work if you were really fighting, but the girls always looked like they could handle themselves. And it was amazing just to see like a female-driven kind of action movie. It was really, really cool. Like I said, haven't read the book, but I think from what I've heard and from what I've read on Wikipedia that it stays pretty true to the book. It changes the ending, as most book-to-movie adaptations do, but in my opinion, I haven't read it, I just read what I saw on Wikipedia, I like the ending better in the movie. I think it makes it more centralized and more cool. I think it strengthens the relationship between Elizabeth and Darcy even more so than in the book. So I really, really enjoyed it. And I haven't read Pride and Prejudice or Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, but Darcy and Elizabeth, oh my gosh, I get it. Like, I get why they are like the epitome of couples that everyone loves, because they were amazing. And at first I didn't know if I was gonna like Sam Riley as Darcy, just because he seemed like kind of older than Lily James, and I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna like this, but he was a perfect Mr. Darcy. Like, he was so sassy, but so like rude in some points, but not trying to be rude, just like blunt, and then so like awkward, and I just wanted to like hug him, but then also like give him a cookie, and it was amazing. He did a really, really great job. And I'd say there were also some really good jump scares, which I know, like, as I'm saying that, obviously it's supposed to be a horror movie, but like I was expecting to be more like gory and kind of gross. Whereas this one, it was like, there were only like 10 people in the theater with me, and it was like a certain scene happened and it scared the crap out of all of us, and we all like jumped, and it's like there's only 10 of us, so like we all feel embarrassed and we all just kind of look around and laughed at each other. It was a very interesting experience. Always super impressed with movies like this where they're talking in old-fashioned English and they make it sound so like no big deal, because I feel like if I tried to do a movie like that, I would be like tripping over every single one of my words, because they talked a lot back in these days. Like, one simple sentence was like 5 long drawn out monologues for them. So I'm always super impressed, and all the actors did a really, really great job with what they had to do. I mean, they made it feel believable. The main focus is definitely on Lily James as Lizzie and Mr. Darcy. They did a great job of convincing me of their relationship. I was so super impressed and in love with them. They were amazing. But if you haven't seen the movie, I don't want to spoil it for what happens. So if you haven't seen the movie and don't want to be spoiled for what happens, you need to pause this video right now and get in your car. I don't care what you're doing. If you're sleeping, pooing on the toilet, feeding the dog, get in your car right now and go to the movies and go see this movie, and then after you see it, come back, hit play, and you can watch the rest of it, okay? Okay, bye for now, non-spoilers. Just a couple things I wanted to point upon, touch upon, slay upon. How many zombie puns can I cram into this video? That is the real question there. Basically, the big fight between Darcy and Lizzie was amazing. Like, that gives me life. Like, honestly, like, this is what 12-year-old me needed to, like, fuel all my fan fiction writings and all my OTP loves. Like, as soon as they did this, I was like, oh no, I'm a goner for Darcy and Lizzie. Basically, like I said, I haven't seen Pride and Prejudice or anything, but the scene where he proposes to her, normally she just like verbally like slays into him and is like, you're a douche, you are a mega douche, you broke up my sister and her happiness, I'm never ever gonna marry you. But in this one, it felt more realistic because when he starts saying like, oh, I didn't think Jane was a good match, I thought she was bad for him, she didn't love him as much. Lizzie does what any normal human being would do and starts throwing things at him, and I love it. She's like, she's shy, and she's like throwing things and he's ducking out of the way, and I love it because I feel like this is how all their fights are gonna go as a married couple, and it's absolutely beautiful because they're so equally matched, like par for par, and I love it. Like, oh, their fighting was just so cool, and it was so intense. It had like that sexual tension underline kind of thing that gets us fangirls going, and especially me as a fangirl, I'm like, oh, I ship it so much. And it was very cool seeing like them fighting and like her attacking him with the letter opener and everything, and how equally matched they were. That was what I liked about the whole movie, was how like they could go wit for wit, and kind of like neither one of them realized they were in love with the other person until like it was too late to go like to try and convince themselves not to be in love with. Like, I like this scene when she was being picked on by, I think it was Bingley's cousins or something like that, someone that was related to Bingley, for not training in Japan like everyone else. Darcy's kind of like trying to like pick on her and make her feel like inferior, and then she goes over and gets The Art of War and is like, oh, you haven't read it in its original text? And he's like, no, I haven't. She's like, shame, I guess you haven't really read it then. And she just like walks away, and Bingley, my love, Bingley was like the biggest Darcy and Lizzie shipper ever, because he just looks at her and like nods his approval. He's like, I like that one. The only qualm about Jane and Bingley was that Jane never talked. Like, it was always him being like, hey, can I take Jane for a moment? And they would be like, oh yeah, go take Jane. And she would just be like, yeah. Like, she wouldn't say anything. I was like, talk for goodness sakes. Then the final like kind of end scene, I guess, would be like the biggest change from the book from what I've heard / read. And I again really like that because it was basically like Lizzie and Darcy showing their love for each other through battles and through killing zombies. Like, Lizzie saved him twice. He finds out that Lizzie's trying to get her sister back from Wickham, and he lies and says that the place she's going to was burned down, it's gone. Takes off to go rescue the sister on his own. Lizzie, because she's so smart, figures it out by looking at Bingley, who again, that man is beautiful, but he cannot play a poker game to save his life. It's Bingley to tell her that Darcy went to go save the sister, and Bingley says the words that will always make my heart go awe. He says he would risk anything for you, and I was just like, and there's this whole big thing where she saves him. He's about to die because Wickham is like crazy, super crazy. They made him so much worse than he is in normal Pride and Prejudice, and so much worse than he is in the book Pride and Prejudice and Zombies. He was about to overcome Darcy, and Elizabeth comes in and saves him. I was trying to make a pun, but that one really didn't work. I have so many cute moments because then the bridge blows up and she admits that she loves him, and even though he's somehow unconscious because he just had like 20 tons of concrete fall on him, he somehow managed to hear that one. We're just gonna ignore that implausible fact for a second. And what I really like was when he asked her a second time to marry him, he was just kind of like, okay, just one word out of you and I'll leave. I won't say anything. And she just looks like she just like purposely like doesn't say anything, and I loved her face. That's where I feel like Lily James and Sam Riley played really well off one another. What I really liked was, instead, the first time he basically said like, would you be my wife? The second time he says, would you do me the great honor of taking me as your husband? And I love that because it's showing like how he sees like they're definitely like equals. It's just like, aww, I really, really love them, and I really, really love the movie. I would definitely give it 4 out of 5 stars, and I can't wait for it to come out on DVD so I can watch it many, many more times and just awe over all of Darcy and Lizzie's scenes. It's funny because she'll like throw an axe at like a zombie to save Darcy, and then I'm just sitting there like, aww. If you've seen Pride and Prejudice and Zombies, please feel free to leave your thoughts down below about it. Darcy and Elizabeth, I'm in love with them, and I don't even know if I'd like other versions of them now because these two have like made it so special that I don't know if I'd be able to enjoy other versions as well as I do with these two. So if you like this video, please feel free to give it a thumbs up, and also subscribe to my channel down below to be told when I make all sorts of new videos, and I will see you guys next time. Bye!